That was really cool.
Yeah, awesome.
That had some pretty sick double bass.
Yes, it did.
Never fails to get me going. I love that. Welcome. And then it just dropped.
I thought the same thing. I literally was writing it down to remind myself about that. But what I really like about them is the fact that like they have that. What's different is to Bring Me the Horizon, for example, is Bring Me the Horizon have a lot more singing nowadays, at least. You know, there's a lot more clean vocals. They still have kept that raw, unclean vocals.
Very heavy.
Yeah, it's still really heavy, but still has that electronic style underneath. And I think it's almost produced in the same sort of way as the Bring Me the Horizon's sort of style, which I really like. And I think, you know, Architects do a similar sort of vibe as well. But, you know, for me, So What, their last album, was fantastic. I listened to that so many times all the way through. It was so consistent. Like, you can listen to every single track, and it would all be slightly different, but it'd all be the same sort of vibe. It's a great album to listen through, and this I really, really like, and I'm looking forward to listening to their new album when it comes out in April. It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah. I'm just going to echo what Mike said. That was really, really cool. It's a band I've never really listened to, obviously heard of, but I mean, that was really, really cool. I just sort of like had visions of being at a sweaty mosh pit download festival next year or whenever we
go. Slam Dunk.
That's Slam Dunk. Yeah, exactly. That's it. They're playing at Slam Dunk, aren't they?
Guys, for a special Slam Dunk episode.
Yeah, that is definitely
a special Slam Dunk episode. But no, I've just had a look at their track listing for their new album that's coming out. They've got. Yeah, the album's called Sleep Society anyway, so it's the same sort of name. And they've got a song called Nervous on there, featuring Simon Neil from Biffy Clyro.
Oh, that's very cool.
That's interesting.
For you, Mike.
Yeah, I know. I'm a little bit, excited about that, to be honest.
Yeah.
No,
so out of 10.
Say one thing about While She Sleeps. I don't know. I think these kinds of metal bands nowadays, I feel like they remind me a lot, especially also like last Bring Me the Horizon album, but also this remind me a lot of new metal, Linkin Park, these kinds of bands. So
yeah, definitely.
I think they've taken that turn, but I think it also shows how important Linkin Park was, I think, for our music. And, I'll just take a second to remember what they did. And yeah, I think they really paved the way for all of this.
Yeah, Linkin Park were a huge influence, I think, on a lot of bands. I mean, if you look at some of the latest Bring Me the Horizon sort of style, look at Teardrops, for example. That has got so much Linkin Park influence. I mean,
yes,
it has like almost that faint sort of influence, which is amazing. But I think a lot of bands are trying to sort of go down that route. Nu metal was amazing, and they changed that when they added that sort of electronic style in there, because that's what made them so popular.
Yeah, but also the rapping.
Yeah.
And they kind of have that a little bit in this While She Sleeps song as well. Another band that they reminded me of with this song was Prodigy. With the sort of ongoing kind of, heavy electronic beat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
one thing that also I realized about all these bands that we're talking about, they're all British, which is interesting as well, because I don't think, Linkin Park obviously being American, and nu metal is pretty much American, plus El Nino, Mexico, North America. Yeah. But you've got these sort of bands like While She Sleeps, you've got Architects, you've got Bring Me the Horizon, all from Britain, creating this sort of sound, which is their sound in that sense. Yeah. Slightly different, obviously, but their sound.
But Britain has a history for this as well. If you look at some of the old guard, if you will, like Eric Clapton, for example, they take blues, which is an American style of music, and they turn it British.
Basically,
so
taking other
is,
people's stuff and making it our own.
Yeah.
It's like the chicken tikka masala.
Perfect.
The most British thing ever, indeed.
Yeah, exactly. It's ours now.
All right, Ben.
All right.
I think
Out
you're
of
up
10.
next. Oh wait,
Yeah,
yes,
out of 10.
let's do a rating. Yeah, let's do that.
I'm going to fly in again with a 7 because that is a really good score. I think for it to be an 8, 9, or a 10, I'll have to be adding that to my playlist like now. So it's as good as it can get. I think, as you'll see from the things I've chosen, my music taste is slightly different. So it's not what I'd listen to on a day-to-day. But having said that, I can't wait to see them at Slam Dunk.
Cool. Nice. Yeah. For me, I was so impressed with So What, the album. This actually slightly disappointed me in that sense. I thought it was cool. I really liked it, but I don't think it was up there with some of the tracks from So What. So I'm going to rate that as a 6, to be honest. But I still like it. Nonetheless, I still like it. But I wouldn't say it. I would say that Atreyu track, I would listen to that actively more than I would, let's say, this track.
Cool.
Yeah. I think I would give that probably, slightly generous 7, maybe, to differentiate from my 6.5 earlier. Because this is a song that I would probably listen to, quite happily. But again, like Ben said, for an 8 or a 9, I need to add it to my playlist now, and I need to become obsessed with it immediately.
Yeah.
So I think a healthy 7 is a very good score for this as well. So on to the next track with Ben.
I do apologise, but mine isn't as heavy as the last two, I'm afraid. But I went for, yeah, probably is. I went for a band called Citizen, who I have loved for a long time. They're from Michigan, I think, or Ohio, or a bit both, and were formed, I think, around like 2009, but have gone from strength to strength ever since, really, in my opinion. This is off their like upcoming album. I think they've released 3 singles from this at this point, but basically, like, I can't really put them into a genre. So what I've done is I've Googled it, and all music have given me the perfect genre, right? So you ready for this? Citizen are bombastic emo pop, post-hardcore, and thick, chunky indie rock. Right? Are you ready?
Bombastic. Love it.
Bombastic emo pop, post-hardcore, and thick, chunky indie rock.
All right, you know what? Let's give it a whirl.
It's called I Want to Kill You by Citizen, which is not a reference by feelings for you two at all, I promise. So let's go.